I'd like to turn now to our guest in the studio, member of the Knesset from Blue and White and former deputy Israeli ambassador to Egypt, Ruth Wasserman Lande. All right, so, we have to discuss that statement from the Moroccan foreign minister. He's called for a two-state solution based on those pre-1967 borders, but he did that after signing 3 agreements with our own Israeli foreign minister, Yair Lapid. So what is the messaging here? I mean, what should we understand from that?
First of all, I must say that seeing this agreement and seeing this historical visit is something quite out of the ordinary, and again, game-changing. So it really presents the Abraham Accords in a sense of this is real, this is really happening. Having said that, the Moroccan leadership has taken a courageous step in discrepancy a little bit with the Moroccan street and in general the Arab street, the regional Arab street, which looks for what is happening with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And therefore they feel that they must sort of make a measured statement and say, we do sign an agreement with Israel, we are for peace with Israel, we shall move forward with the normalization with Israel, but let's not forget that we need some kind of a solution, a sustainable solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Very important for them to sort of appease the opposers, even though they are not voiced in Morocco, or at least not spoken out very loudly, and yet the street needs this kind of comforting, both in Morocco and in general in the Arab world.
Well, I mean, also you can just understand the reality of social media. When it comes to Israel, what you see over and over again is all the news related to what is happening with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So your average viewer on social media and television is focused on that issue, and that is within the context of every other event that takes place. I know that you are the co-chair of the Parliamentary Caucus for Forwarding the Abraham Accords. I'd like to understand what type of work that you're doing to actually make that happen, and what this meeting means for the future of Israeli peace deals with other Arab nations. Who's coming down the line?
So, as somebody who really served as a diplomat in Egypt for 3 whole years and as absolutely exquisitely in love with regional affairs, with issues pertaining to the Abraham Accords and really strengthening the ties between the Israeli nation and the nations that we have in the neighborhood, I felt that within my capacity as a member of Knesset, a parliamentary legislator, I could create a caucus, a platform upon which we could actually forward and bring more content into the Abraham Accords. In other words, make a kind of a meeting place for experts on both sides, for having people really voice their opinions, their emotions, speaking about, for example, the pandemic, really collaborating in terms of knowledge, thinking out loud with ambassadors and with professionals about what are the specific interests that can be met between the 2 countries that are of absolute fiber to the everyday lives of both nations. And there are so many. And this is a wonderful platform which legitimizes a discussion, an ability to come and meet together in almost every field. I mean, look at medicine, look at technology, look at mutual education, and so on and so forth. There are so many issues pertaining to the everyday lives of people on both sides.
Right. Well, this is obviously a historic day for both Morocco and Israel. I think that we're very excited about what is yet to come. Obviously, you are working very hard to continue with making peace with other Arab nations. Quick answer here. Who could come next?
I'm dreaming about Saudi Arabia. I think they may feel a teeny bit uncomfortable saying it out loud right now, but I believe that the underlying currents in preparation for such an agreement have already begun.
All right. That is important for us to note. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Knesset member Ruth Wasserman Lande.